My name is Deirdre McBride. I work for the Community Relations Council and my role is in relation to cultural diversity and in particular to developing the programme around the decade of Centenaries. That we developed that programme in conjunction with the Heritage Lottery Fund. And the purpose of that programme is to think about how we remember 100 years on the events from Home Rule to partition, which were very divisive in Ireland and led to the formation of the Republic and of Northern Ireland. We've just organised 3 events throughout Northern Ireland. Each of those events are half-day conferences and they start off with dramatic inputs, and so we use plays and music to sort of think about how drama uniquely opens up very difficult conversations and very difficult subjects in a way that maximises community engagement. We then moved on and had 2 case studies in each event. So the first event was looking at grassroots activity, and so the Jethro Centre's outreach project in Lurgan and the Causeway Coast and Glen Museum Services project called On the Brink, the volunteer strand of that. How did those both contribute to grassroots activity? The second event in Belfast is looking at council museum services, council supported local museums, and also council programmes around the decade of Centenaries. So Belfast City Council's decade of Centenaries, and in particular their 1916 programme, became a focus of a case study, and then the Irish Linen Centre and Lisburn Museum Centre produced a case study that looked at their community engagement, particularly with local women's group and a local youth group. The third event in Derry, Londonderry, is entitled Education, Outreach and Creativity. And in that, the Ethical and Shared Remembering project operated by the Junction and the Nerve Centre's Creative Centenaries project became the 2 case studies. And then the other part of the event was really looking ahead. And so we had a keynote speaker at each of the 3 events looking at a slightly different topic, and those we videoed as a legacy resource. In the first one, Dr. Raymond Felix talked about the historical aspects of the rest of the decade, and particularly what are the key political and other moments that occurred and how those are both challenging and how we can think about those in a way that increases understanding. The second keynote speaker was Dr. Johnston McMaster. Johnston talked about ethical remembering in the context of what's the legacy coming out of the decade, democratic foundations of the 2 states, pluralism, Paris Peace Conference. And the third event is by Dr. Elizabeth Crook, who really is focusing on history and memory in recognition that the events between 2016 to 2023, after we come out of the First World War, are much more about hidden and family memories. And in each event finished with a workshop, and the workshop invited the participants in small round tables to think about what have we learned so far, what's worked, and what are the challenges ahead and how do we tackle those. And we will produce all of that into a series of videos and summary report. At this point in 2017, we're in the middle of a process of acknowledging and remembering the decade. And as we move to the end of it, the point is well made that we should not stand facing history, but facing the future, remembering the future. And that as we go through the decade, it's important that we have a legacy, and that legacy is about understanding our place in the international context, about reaching young people, and about ensuring that this has contributed to reconciliation and to greater understanding.